Today's question is how to cope when life doesn't go the way you want it to go. So how to cope when life doesn't go the way you want it to go. When you have the experience that life is not going the way you want to go, then it serves you to take a step back and, in a sense, out of the illusion of the 3D experience, and recall that you are the higher self being temporarily embedded in the mind-body apparatus, or shall we say flowing through, downloading, real-time streaming through the mind-body apparatus, personality construct, for the purpose of discovering more of the non-physical self in the physical experience. And so from this perspective, what actually happens in your life is inconsequential, because this greater purpose of discovering the non-physical self in the physical experience, to know thyself, is always being accomplished. It is always what is happening. It cannot be not happening. And so from that perspective, from the perspective of who you are before this lifetime began and who you are when this lifetime is finished, from that perspective, life is going the way you want it to go. So there is no error, there is no mistake. However, we understand the question is from the perspective of the personality construct, from the perspective of being identified with the mind, body, personality construct apparatus. And so from that perspective, how do you deal with life not going the way that you want it to go? The only way this can be a useful understanding is if you maintain the awareness that you are the immortal, infinite, higher self being having a temporary physical experience right now. And so if life doesn't go the way you want it to go, then from this perspective we are always aware that it is for the process of knowing thyself. This is the purpose of the physical experience. And so when life doesn't go the way you want it to go from the perspective of the mind-body, then using this duality where you are the mind-body and you are the higher self, you can look at the experience of not getting what you want, of life not going the way you want, and draw from that understanding of self. For example, what is it that I must believe for this scenario to have occurred? What is it I must believe about myself for me to manifest this situation? What is it that I believe about life to create this scenario, these circumstances that I find myself in now? And through this process of identifying what beliefs I hold to create this unwanted scenario, you discover, in a sense, who you are not. So, for example, if you find yourself struggling to find a relationship with somebody who loves you in the way that you wish to be loved, then perhaps from your investigation, what is it that I must believe about myself for this to occur? Your discovery may be, I believe that I'm not lovable. I believe that I'm not worthy of the love that I seek. And if you now take a step out of the mind-body identification and you look at that discovery and you realize that you are the infinite, immortal, higher self that is an individuation of the one, which is love and its derivatives, then you are so worthy, you exist, so therefore you are worthy of love. Obviously, clearly. And so, taking that awareness that you are worthy of love simply because you exist. You do not need to do anything additional to existing to be worthy of love. And then we take that reference and again putting one foot in both sides of that duality of being the higher self and being the mind, body, apparatus, personality construct. I exist, I'm an individuation of the one of infinite love. This is the foot in the highest self. The other foot we have in the mind, body, personality construct. And we discover, I believe that I'm not worthy of love. And using this reference point of the higher self, the greater awareness, we can see that that belief is not true. The belief itself may be true, because this is what you believe, but in the context of how it all works, it isn't possible. It isn't possible to not be worthy of love. It isn't possible to not deserve to be loved, because simply by existing, you are worthy. Therefore, that belief is not me, in the true sense of the higher self, individuation of the one of the infinite love. From that perspective, this belief cannot coexist with that reality. Therefore, that belief is not me. And so through this process of discovering what you are not, you are revealing what you are. And so this is how it can be used when life doesn't go the way you want it to go. Because ultimately, all of experience is about discovering, remembering, and living the infinity of the highest self in the physical experience. And through this process of elimination, of discovering what you are not, and then releasing it, what is left is a greater revelation, a greater revealing of the higher self. And as this process continues, and the obstructive sense of being which has been originating from the mind-body personality construct is cleared away, then what is left is more of the essence. And as more of the essence, which is not occluded, the essence is always there, of course, because you are infinite, you are immortal, you are invulnerable. But that essence is no longer occluded by the falsities which have been developed by the mind. And in this situation, you are allowing yourself to be spontaneously, authentically present as the higher self in the physical experience. Because it is there. Your higher self presence is there. It does not need to be, because it is. So from the perspective of the mind-body, then you be the higher self. And the way that you be the higher self is to allow the higher self. And it is through this process that you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, further, more expansive into the realization of who you truly are, and live it in calibration with that awareness in your presence, in your physical experience. So in a sense, when life doesn't go the way you want it to go, this is not a time to be upset or disappointed or have a sense of sadness, because it is an opportunity. It's a gift, it's a blessing, it's a time to be grateful, because it has shown to you that there is something about yourself that you still don't know. There is an occlusion. There is something which is originating from the mind-body apparatus, which is dimming your view, lessening your awareness of the true essence, which is higher self. So it's a time to rejoice. Life hasn't gone the way I wanted to go. This is fantastic. This means there is something about me which I'm about to discover. There is something about me which is not me. There is a belief that I hold, and that belief isn't true. It isn't representative of who I truly am, of my infinite, immortal, invulnerable, higher self. And so with excitement, I now begin the process of discovering what that is. Because I'm excited to have the revelation of greater awareness of the infinite higher self, of the infinite non-physical, through the process of realizing what I am not and releasing it. So in these times, maintaining that mindset, shall we say, you begin the process of investigation. What must I believe to feel this way? What must I believe for this to have occurred? What must I believe for this scenario to be repeating in my life, if that is the case? And if you are earnest and open and do it with disconnected objectivity, without blame, without emotionality that is going to cloud you from the reality of what is occurring, then you will be able to discern a belief, or discern the occlusion which is limiting you, and then you can lay it to side, release it. Through the process of releasing, because you have recognized this is not me. I am not that. You are exposing more and more and more and more of the higher self, allowing it to be present more and more and more in every moment, because it is the true essence of you. And the mind and body are just a conduit. They're just the apparatus which is essential for you to interface with 3D reality in the physical experience. So, when life doesn't go the way you want it to go, follow this process. And you will find that things don't go the way you want them to go less often, and your life will become smoother and smoother and smoother, such that things go the way you want them to go more often. And of course, from the greater perspective, from the higher self, from the fifth dimensional perspective of the being that you are before and after this physical experience, and of course now as well. But at this time now, you are, in a sense, without memory of this higher self being that you are. You will always be in a place where it makes sense what is happening. It is going the way you want it to go, because the way you want it to go is the way that it goes, because there is nothing but perfection. Because every moment has been manifested through your own creation. You have created the moment that you're in. You have created the circumstances that are descriptive of your life right now. It is your creation. It is your perfection, because it's the perfect experience for you to discover more of who you are. So, life is always going the way you want it to go. It cannot go any other way. There is only perfection. So when life doesn't go the way you want it to go, realize that it is going the way that you want it to go, because it cannot go any other way. There is only perfection. And so love every moment. Recognize that while it is not the way you want it to go, it is the opportunity which is perfect for you to discover more of who you actually are. So, it is exactly where you wanted it to go. Life is precisely what you want it to be. Because from the greater perspective, what you want it to be is the perfect sequence of events and circumstances most conducive to your awakening of your higher self in the physical experience. And that is what it always is, and nothing else. Thank you. We appreciate the question and the opportunity to answer it. Enjoy your life, enjoy every moment, and live with a sense of gratitude and blessedness that no matter what occurs in your life, no matter which circumstances you find yourself in, it is always perfection. It is always the most loving experience for you to further awaken into the realization of your non-physical in the physical experience. Because love wishes it so, and you are love.